Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We're so glad you could join us this evening for this edition of the IKoK bi-monthly chat. I am Essence Catheris, founder and one of the Krones of the International Koalition of Krones, and we are so honored that you have joined us this evening. And we're looking forward to what comes forward, what information, what knowledge, what sharing, what love, what energy to be shared with each other and the world today. I'd like to take this time and go ahead and ask the other two Krones to introduce themselves. We'll go in alphabetical order. How's that? So go right ahead, Miss Ariane.
I guess that's me. So I'm beginning with an A. I'm Ariane. I'm living in far north Queensland, so it's still the middle of the day here for me, and it's a glorious day. I am a holistic counsellor, meditation therapist, energy healer, and lots of other things as well. And I'm really honoured to be here in these chats and a member of the International Koalition of Krones.
Thank you. Thank you, Ariane. Kohabaha.
Good evening to everyone. Bonsoir. Being French, I want to spice it up tonight. My name is Kobaha. I live in northern Arizona near Sedona. I'm an intuitive, I'm a spiritual facilitator and a crystal therapist. And I'm very honored to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, yes. Wow, a lot to talk about this evening, a lot of interesting information, knowledge, a lot of love to share. I think that's the biggest one. I'm going to begin our chat with reading the Metatronic numerology I am keyword phrases associated with the International Koalition of Krones. This is how we begin our chats. It's to set the energy field for us to all come together. So if you will just sort of close your eyes if you want to, and just allow the energy that these I am keyword phrases, these Metatronic numerology I am keyword phrases bring forth. The first one is the 2266 dual frequency. It is known as the heart of the IKoK. I am the master of divine balance. Through the remembrance of the singing of the sacred cosmic song of self, I ignite creation of new realities. I am that which rebalances and heals. The heart of the IKoK. The next one is what we call the work of the IKoK. We call it the cornerstones of the work of the IKoK. It is the 2277 dual frequency. I am the form of the sacred structure of collective reality known through the awakened divine rational mind. I build reality upon the foundation whose cornerstones are honor, integrity, responsibility, and expansion of sacred perspective. I am the master builder of collective galactic realities. And the third and final one for the beginning of this chat, we call this the starseed I am frequency. And it is the 655 dual frequency. I am that which is aware of the responsibility of clearly hearing the voice of love. I am responsible for anchoring love's message of rebalancing within the collective field of humanity. I am starseed. I love those. Okay. I think we're going to jump right in and see where this evening's chat takes us. This evening's chat we have titled, I guess you could say, you know, this is what we want to talk about, share information about. Where do we go from here? Manifesting reality post-COVID. This is the 6th chat of the IKoK. And in a lot of ways, it's interesting. We've been led when the information started coming forward for what we would share and talk about this evening. We found that it was very much a not circle, in other words, not a repeat, but on that spiral. You know how the concept of, you know, life, our journey is a spiral. It's not a circle where you just repeat the same thing over and over, but it is a spiral. And at points, it spirals back around to major points in your life and major decisions and things like that. And so in a lot of ways, it's so interesting. So in a lot of ways, where we're at tonight, what we're talking about tonight really is what we talked about on the first chat, which was on May 5th of 2020, and the next steps beyond that. So it's been interesting for us in the past 2 weeks as we've prepared for this chat and received information about it and everything. I'm going to go ahead. I've got a list here of things that we're going to touch on this evening. And also, too, if there's anything else, if one of the other Krones could go ahead and start a chat over here, a typing chat, so that anyone, if you have a question or a comment that you would like to ask, but you prefer not to do so on video or audibly, you can type it in the chat and we can respond to it that way. So some of the things that we're going to talk about this evening. Okay, where do we go from here? I mean, that's it. Manifesting reality post-COVID. All right. Then a lot of you who follow us on Facebook probably saw that we posted something called the 777 Tears. We talked about in that, and on that same image, we saw the September stone, the dragon stone. We're going to talk about that and give some information about that, what that's for. Some of you may have also seen an image that I shared about peony, that beautiful flower peony, the birth of compassion. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. We've got a couple of other frequencies that have come forward, specifically around this chat. We'll be talking about that. Messages, we're going to go, wow, so many connections. We're going to talk about the Lion's Gate and the Dragon's Gate. We're going to touch on that a little bit. We've got a lot of information to share. So let me see. Oh, and of course, like always, Crone Ariane will be giving us a message from Animal Totem, and Crone Kabaha will be pulling cards and talking about that, and definitely she'll be sharing some information about the stones we were talking about. Kabaha or Ariane, is there anything right in this moment that you can think of that, or if there's anything you want to say while I kind of look over some next set of notes? I'll tell you what, let's do this. So I'm guessing no, since neither of you unmuted or said anything. So, okay. So let's do this. Okay, where do we go from here? Creating reality, or manifesting reality, creating it, manifesting it post-COVID. Got a lot of work. Huh? Sound like a lot of work? It is. It's going to be. I mean, you know, okay, let's just be honest. Let's just, you know, be realistic. Okay. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be a long process. And it's going to be something that all of us go, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to do that. None of us do. Nobody does. Nobody on the planet wants to have to face it, but the truth is we do. Okay. And so it's time to, now here's where I'm hearing the first message. Let me find this real quick, because right here is where we have to stand up. We have to stand up, be heard. I'm looking for it. Y'all know me and my notes. There's always so many pages. Let me find this one. Here it is. Received this a few days on the 14th. You want to help change the world? Stand up. Stand up where you're at. In other words, stop going, oh, well, where do I stand up? What do I do? How do I help? Stand up where you're at. Stand up right where you're at. Stand up where you live. Stand up and be seen. Stand up and be heard. You need to stand up to injustice, to hate, intolerance, and lies. Stand up. Stand up for truth, love, and equality. But more than anything, stand up where you're at. You are here on this planet as a part of this collective, planted like a seed of love, a seed of compassion, literally planted where you are physically located on this planet. Stand up. And when I say stand up, in this moment, I want everyone to literally sit up as tall as you can, straight spine, okay? I want you to hold your head up. I want you to unashamedly say, I am here. See my power, feel my power, and stand up. Stand up. You can do this. We can do this together. You feel that power within yourself. You feel that energy rising up through your spine. You feel your legs strengthen. Okay? You feel that? You feel, and in that power, in that standing up, do you feel the joy that brings and the freedom when you stand up? Stand up. You're beautiful. You're powerful. You deserve respect and honor, and you stand up, not in ego. You stand up in power. You stand up in truth. You stand up, and you stand up where you're at. And you breathe deep. And when you exhale love and the same power of joy and freedom and strength, so that your exhale becomes the inhalation of all those around you. It's beautiful. And we can do this. That's one. Stand up where you're at. Okay. First message, stand up. Stand up where you're at. Feel that joy, feel that power. Feel it in your physical being. Feel it in your energetic being. It is who you are, and it is why you are here. All right. I'm being called right now to go ahead and ask Ariane to share the animal totem message. I believe that belongs here. So go ahead.
Okay, just working out where to unmute. Okay, thank you. That's pretty powerful. Stand up where you are. And our next animal is probably adding quite well to that message. Okay, so the animal that we have with us today is only actually on this planet in a small area of the world. But although it only populates that small area, there's something like 60 million of them. That's 2 to 1 to the human population. They come in all sorts of colors, all sorts of sizes, and from like really, really small to whopping huge 6 foot tall creatures. They've got little tiny legs at the front. They've got big, strong, powerful back legs and a whopping great tail that they use for balancing. If I tell you that they're marsupials, you've probably worked out exactly what they are. They're animals from my part of the world. They're kangaroo that's come to join us today with a message. Obviously, with that big tail and those big, strong feet, kangaroo represents power and strength and protection. They're also an incredibly adaptable creature. In fact, they are so in tune with their environment and able to adapt to what's going on that in Australia, they're considered a pest. They're a really successful species. And one of the things that kangaroos do is, we know this with these strong back legs and their tail, they can jump forward. They can take great big leaps forward. Kangaroos can also move side to side. What they can't do is move backwards. They just cannot travel backwards. They can't back up. And what that's telling us is that we also are not able to back up anymore. We can't return back to where we were, to what was our normal. We can't do that anymore. It's not an option. We either have to go side to side or we have to go forward. There is no option. So we have to have a good look at where we are right now, where we've landed, and work out where we are going to go forward. What way? What obstacles do we have in front of us? We can get around obstacles, we can jump over obstacles, but we've got to know where we're starting from. We also have to be aware of the obstacles that we've passed and don't drag them with us. We need to leave them behind so that we can take that leap forward, that leap of faith, if you will. So we've also had some really practical information through from various birds over the last chats and the weekly messages that we have over the last few weeks, which actually help us know how to go forward from here, how to deal with the issues and the problems that we're coming across, the obstacles that we're coming across in our everyday lives, and advice for moving forward. We had a message from Owl, and from her we discovered that you have to sit up and you have to look around you and you have to take notice of what's going on around you. It's really important to be aware of what's happening in your circle and in the bigger circle. Crow's this week's messenger, and if you haven't had a chance to see it yet, do hop onto the YouTube channel at some point and have a look at Crow, because that's really important. Lots of information there. And what Crow is telling us, that we really shouldn't jump to conclusions about what we see and what we hear, especially on social media. We shouldn't just follow blindly what other people are doing. We need to start digging deep into the energy of whatever it is that we're facing. We need to look for the magic within that option, that project, that whatever it is that you're doing. We need to be aware at a far greater level. Don't just blindly follow. We had a lovely message from Pelican, where we learned that you have to offload anything that's holding you down before you fly. So these are all things that we can do right now to help us move forward. Leave the baggage behind. That forgiveness that Essence was mentioning before, forgive those. Step forward, move forward. We don't need that weight. Penguin had an amazing message. Penguin told us, you are a survivor of your past. You have overcome obstacles already. You've got past them, you've gone around them, you've jumped over them, you've got past them. Leave them behind. You have survived them. And now you're in a place where you're able to create where you're going to go going forward.
Okay.
Going forward, we had an amazing message from Ibis.
Okay. Ariane seemed to be having a little bit of connection issue. So we'll remind her when she does get back in, she was at Ibis, and let her continue from there. But yeah, there she comes. Hang on. Ariane, you're muted.
am I? Thank you.
There you go. You were at Ibis is when you fell out. If you can start there.
I have a really dodgy internet service where I live.
Thank
You can
you.
hear me now? Thank you. All right, so Ibis told us that she's here to help us for at least 3 months. And her role is in helping the collective to rebalance and to restructure and recreate global society once the pandemic's over. Actually get the feeling that she's going to be here for a bit longer than 3 months. We can draw on Ibis energy. I think she's going to be around till towards the end of October, when the collective finishes that out breath and we just have that little pause. I think a new creature will come along to help us forward from that point. So basically with that lot, we can't go backwards. We have some wonderful messengers that are just giving us that guidance that we need. Now, Kangaroo has a couple of other messages for us. When she sits down, she's got those 2 really strong legs and that really powerful tail. She forms a tripod. 3, unity. She's telling us that there is strength in unity, the power of 3. Okay. Kangaroos are social creatures. They wander around in what's called a mob, and there's usually 10 or more of them in a mob, and they offer support for each other and security and comfort, just company. And we actually need, we've had this message a few times, pretty much every week, that we need to connect with other people so that we can swap information, gain knowledge, and just move forward again within a society that we relate to. We need to make our own mobs. And that's not just on social media. We actually need to do that in the physical. Tricky at the moment, yeah, for sure, but we can actually do it. Okay, and female kangaroos are really interesting in that when they give birth, their baby is about the size of a peanut and it's only 33 days after conception. And that baby struggles up the mother's fur, up its belly, climbs into the pouch, gets in there, hangs onto a little teat and starts to grow for another 185 days. During that time, Mama kangaroo can look around and go, not much water, not much food. Hey, there's a lot of fires, there's hunters around. It's not a good time for this baby to be born. I'm going to stop it growing. We'll have a pause. We'll just hold off until times are better. And what Kangaroo is telling us with that is that we also need to just stop and assess where we are we're going to go, what our foundations are we secure where we are? Do we have the support of others? Do we have what we need to go forward? Or is going forward going to be tricky? Is it going to be burdensome? Is it going to be hard to cope with? We need to assess, lay the foundations for our future right now so we can go forward. Before we make any major commitments, we need to know what we're stepping into. And if what you personally are stepping into is some project or plan of action or some cause, you need to really stop, have a good look at it. Don't jump straight in with both feet. Feel the energy of it. Does it bring you that joy? Does it give you that feeling of compassion and forgiveness? Don't drop down a rabbit hole just because everybody else is doing it. Assess your foundations, your beliefs and your actions. It's really important because that is where we lay our future, on those foundations. So, strong message from Kangaroo. Consider your foundations and how you build them. Have a mob to interact with. You can't go backwards. That route's no longer available. You've got to look at traveling forward in some manner. You have to make up your mind how that's going to be. You have to make that choice. When something crops up, you don't have to jump in straight away. You can delay your choice. You can have a good look at it first before you decide to go ahead. And you have the choice to walk away. You don't have to go forward with anything that you're already in or you're thinking of joining in with. You don't have to. You've got that choice to move away. We're not here to rescue humanity. We're here to aid humanity. And like Kangaroo, we're strong, we're powerful, we're adaptable, we can stand tall, and we can be secure that our mob has our back while we look at the wider and deeper energetic perspective of our current world. And then we can take that step forward into our future. Thank you, Kangaroo, for joining us with this wonderful message. Gashain, back to Essence.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ariane. Perfect, because amazing information, amazing totem, very much in line with, it's interesting. I don't remember the exact point in the conversation, but I remember conversation because the other two Krones and I speak very often during the days before a chat comes up with information, and this is part of how we receive information, is our connection in that way. And whatever we were talking about, suddenly Kangaroo literally just hopped into the conversation. And so I was like, okay, wow. So, you know, and as humans, we love those things. Those things are especially, you know, that on the spiritual path, those, as we call them, those aha moments, you know, those synchronicities, those confirmations, all of those things. Okay. Those are joy. They are full of joy, you know, but you have to be awake. And when I say awake, you have to, what I mean is you have to be watching, you have to be open, you have to be looking up and looking around, okay, for those things, or you're not going to see them. If you, and don't get me wrong, and believe me, you know, none of us are perfect. We're all human. There's all that human. We all have those days where it's like, you just, okay, you know what, I ain't getting up. I'm just pulling the covers over my head and forget it. I am not doing it today. And that's fine. You know, everyone needs those breaks every once in a while. But the vast majority of the time, you need to stand up, stand tall, stand in your power, and walk out that door and say, okay, you know, here I am. And in that, what I'm saying about that, when I say here I am, what I want you to be doing when you're doing that, okay, is not in that sense of ego, look at me, here I am, but in that sense of, okay, here I am. Are you afraid? Are you scared? Come on, follow me, you know? Be that strong leader that people are looking for. People need that right now more than probably ever before on this planet. Yes, ma'am. It looks like Kobaha has something she would like to share here. Would you like to go ahead, Miss Kobaha? You have to unmute yourself.
No, Essence. I mean, even listening to Oriane with her message, now you, and started the conversation, our chat tonight, about standing in your power, standing tall, standing in your truth. I feel it's the right time to share the open letter I wrote a few weeks back to the starseeds that I shared on Facebook, because that's pretty much connected to what you just said and Oriane. And I've got another surprise as well, talking about signs and synchronicity. So here he goes, an open letter to starseeds. When you are born into a world you do not fit in, it is because you were born to create a new one. Starseeds carry a plethora of intelligence, wisdom, and special abilities that hibernate deep within the core of their being. Right now is the opportunity to come together for the purpose of co-creation. Some of you are feeling separated, divided, and unsure of the truth. Some anchoring down to wait it out, and some are awakening for the first time. You came here for this purpose. Remember, this is all playing out 100% as intended. Does it feel scary to you now that things are actually collapsing? 2020 is a big year. Use this time to come into yourself, to be still. Allow the events to play out through a higher perspective. How you show up right now as a being of light is everything to humanity. So hold your calm, your grounding, and see this as a gift. Hold space as a gentle, non-judgmental and supporting presence. Pull back, trust and respect the boundaries and process of others. Everything is unfolding. Everything is being exposed, for it cannot hide anymore. We are not in conflict or divide with anyone. However, the collective energies are seeming to play out the roles of fear-based agendas. See it for what it is, then open the real eye and feel into what is your truth. Raise your light. It is time to remember your divine self-expression and your part to play here. Use this time to work on self-care tenfold. Connect to source, good foods, and also spend some time in nature as much as you can. Boost your immune system by boosting the way you respond to the external forces. See this as a blessing and gift that you get to be part of. Wherever you are in the world, know you are important, and the wisdom and knowledge you bring to the earth is paving the way. I know it can get fearful down here, the collective pull on the heart and how it affects the body. But know you are here to embody mastery over the mind, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So no more than ever, this is no different apart from really going inwards. The structures are resetting, just like a computer system needs to reboot. Have compassion, but don't attach to the chaos which is happening in the collective. Be cautious and discerning, but without the fear. Set yourself up, but without panic. Assisting others is one of the reasons you came here. And when you share and hold space for others to share, you work together collectively, and harmoniously. We are here to create a revolution unlike any has gone before, a conscious awareness tsunami that will sweep the planet and shake our modern world to its very core. Will you care to join us to create a new reality for the collective consciousness of humanity? You came here to go forth with your vision, with your mission. You came here to not just be on the sidelines. When you are courageous and strong, you are more in tune with your purpose. You stand in your power and speak your truth. There are so many souls that just want to be here right now to say they were on earth for this time of transformation, because it's one of the first times we have ever gone from a mass level of consciousness to a higher state of consciousness. Let's not waste this opportunity. Thank you for your divine service. Now, I've got something else totally connected with that. As Essence mentioned about our frequent, I would call them informal, but we work hard, chats. Sometimes we've got many sides. And one day Essence asked me, Freddie, just pull a card just to guide us, where we're going to with the next chat. So I pulled a card and I look at the card and I bursted laughing. And I want to share it again today because it's very much connected to the open letter to the star seeds I wrote a few weeks back. And I'm going to read actually the text from the book. This is from an oracle deck, called the Starseed Oracle Deck. And the card is, you're not for everyone. Embrace your weirdness. Face your true north. Here's the card. And I'm going to read from the book. The message is beautiful. You're going to feel special, I promise you. The world is filled with people who, no matter what you do, just won't like you. But it's also filled with those who love you fiercely. They are your people. You're not for everyone, and that's okay. Talk to the people who can hear you. Don't waste your precious time and gifts trying to convince others of your value. They won't ever want what you're selling. Don't try to convince them to walk alongside you. You'll be wasting both your time and theirs, and will likely inflict unnecessary wounds that will take precious time to heal. You're not for them, and they're not for you. Politely wave them on and continue on your way. Sharing your path with someone is a sacred gift. Don't cheapen it by rolling yours in the wrong direction. Keep facing your true north. Pulling this card means you're being called to embrace your uniqueness, to own your weirdness, to let the world see who you really are, to reveal your multifaceted, multidimensional nature, not to dim your light according to who is in your presence, to own all parts of yourself so that your people, the ones who are the same kind of weird as you, can recognize you when your paths cross. Here we go.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And it was that message, along with others, that in our chats, our preparation talks, because I had been given information that where do we go from here? Manifesting a reality post-COVID. First thing we have to do is we have to walk away. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but we have to walk away from all of that craziness. We have to walk away from what no longer is serving our purpose individually and what is no longer serving the purpose of creating a beautiful collective reality post-COVID. Now, that does not mean, and here's where the balance comes in, that does not mean that you don't have to be active in the everyday reality. That's the stand up part. Okay? It's a balance. You got to stand up in that power. You've got to be that leader. You've got to say, yes, I know it's scary. Okay, but we are walking away. We are walking away from hate and injustice and inequality. We are walking away from all of that. That no longer serves this collective. It no longer serves you and me and this child and that person and this man. It no longer serves. There's no going back, like we've been told. Okay, so tonight we begin the path. Tonight, today, whatever it is for you. Okay, this moment, in this now. Okay, those of us who've gathered together in real time, as it's called, and in no time and no space, who will watch this chat in recording, right here, right now. Right here, right now. Make your commitment to walk away from a reality that is no longer of service. Because we cannot drag any of this with us if we want to create and manifest a reality. And here's where I'm going to start sharing some information that has come in the last couple of weeks about this. And so we're going to start some information flying. You all know me if you've been a part of my work for any time at all. So get ready for the information, and then we will bring it all together at the end. I know both of the other Krones still have more information to share, and let's get busy. Let's go to work. Okay? Because we're walking away from all of that. I'm just going to go through my notes here because there's a lot of them. First of all, I want to say, for anyone who hasn't done it at all, okay, but even for those who have, I highly suggest that you go to our YouTube channel and you find the chat from September 8th. I think it was posted on September 8th of 2019. It is the initial activation of the planetary soul star chakra. All right, there's a lot of information in that. And if you haven't done that, even if you have, I highly, us 3 Krones re-listened to it and redid the meditation. Okay, I highly suggest you do it. If you don't feel you don't have time, or you don't want to mess with listening to all of the information prior to the meditation, go to about the 40-minute mark on that and at least do the meditation. Okay. Back in December of 2019, we were told by Navari. Navari is the Earth liaison for the Intergalactic Governance Board, who made contact with me just prior, literally just days prior to the initial activation of the planetary soul star chakra. All right. She said then, prepare to be thrust into releasing what has served its purpose. This was in December of 2019. Prepare to be thrust. In other words, no more choice. You're going. Okay? I think we all can agree with that. This is all of the things connected to this. The planetary soul star chakra activation. All right. Dragon's Gate, Lion's Gate, 777 tears. Okay, I'm going to talk about all that. On the morning of the 22nd of this month, so just a few days, what? Really, has that only been 2 days? Are you kidding me? 2? Oh my gosh, okay. 2 linear days ago, okay. Whew. Let me catch up here in linear time then. Really thought that'd been a lot longer. Okay, I was awakened at about 4:17 in the morning with information coming through. I'm going to read you some of that information. Okay. It was on the 17th, I had re-listened to the planetary soul star chakra meditation that I just suggested you all go listen to and remind yourself. On the 17th of December of 2019, okay, that information that I just read you on the 15th of December of 2019, we got a notice, if you will, prepare to be thrust into releasing what has served its purpose. Well, on the 17th, so 2 days later, in December 17th, 2019, which was talking about the Stargate portal that had been activated. The first initial activation of that planetary soul star chakra occurred on 9/11/2019. That was the first of 3, one of 3. There will be another one. I'm going to be talking later toward the end of this for a couple of big activations coming up. And so we'll be doing work on that if you want to be a part of that. But anyway, on the 17th of December of 2019, we got this information. This dual Stargate portal alignment leads us across the bridge into our galactic collective experience and deep into multidimensional reality, and gives us access of many collective reality timeline experiences. Okay, quick recap. Planetary soul star chakra activation. All right, dual Stargate portal. That is, now this was the dual Stargate portal. I'm sorry, that was my bad. I confused that right there. The planetary soul star chakra activation was in December. What was talking about here in December, okay, we were preparing to, believe it was in January, no, February 22nd, I believe it was. We activated a dual Stargate portal, the 444-2222 dual Stargate portal. That has been activated and is now open, and open for several years. Will be open. I'll be telling you on the 22nd, just 2 days ago, we had another surge of energy come through that. Okay, that's kind of that's what's happening now. All right. So, but we were in preparing, okay, in 2019 for the activation of that dual Stargate portal. We were told this dual Stargate portal alignment leads us across the bridge into our galactic collective experience and deep into multidimensional reality, and gives us access of many collective reality timeline experiences. Remember, we've got about somewhere between 25 and 50 years left before a final decision this collective has to make as to what reality timeline experience it will choose to travel for the next 13,000 plus years. Okay, major work going on. All right, this is not individual lifetime. This is literally tens of thousands and even into the millions of years. Okay, that's why this point in time, you know, we hear in this belief system all this talk all the time about, oh yeah, star seeds, we all came here, you know, this is a really important time, and it is. But because that goes through the filter of a human mind, it gets kind of downplayed, I guess you could will, and forget the bigger expanse of information, because we tend to try to see and think that all of this is going to transpire in one single human lifetime. And when that happens, we get really lost in drama and overwhelm. Okay. And that's when we got caught up in the illusion, the play on the stage. That's the everyday life. Not that that's not important. Okay. That's a part of it too. But we have to understand the bigger picture. We always have to keep that in mind. Remember, 2020, this is the year we go galactic. Humanity goes galactic. This is the year that 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, humanity, the collective consciousness of humanity of Earth, will look back when we're traveling through the stars, okay, literally in physical form on spaceships, when we're traveling, you know, when we think we're on Star Trek, okay, from this perspective, let's just put it that way to say it simply and quickly. All right. When we're traveling that way, this will be the point in time when this collective of humanity will look back and go, you know, 2020, man, that's the year it all started. So much happened then. It was crazy. It was insane. It was like the world exploded. Okay. All right. That was in 2019, December of 2019. Now, okay. So on the 22nd, fast forward to 2 days ago from where we sit now, I was awakened with a lot of information coming through. All right. Where would I want to start on this? I'll just throw it out there and then we'll put it all together. How's that? I usually work best that way anyway. All right. Got a message. This is from the Intergalactic Governance Board. All right. This was at 5:07 a.m. on the 22nd. There is as we speak, there is a beacon, a light wave, a beam of energy, a frequency wave, radiating directly from the center of the 444-2222 dual Stargate portal directly into your current reality experience. It is as a great pulsar, and it pulses in and out of manifest form in slow and gentle pulsating waves. But let it be known, beginning in this moment, and that was at 5:11 a.m. Central Daylight Time on the 22nd of July, 2020. For the next 777 days of your linear Earth time, the pulsar light wave will continue to increase in intensity. Because of this, the pressure for great upheaval and change will increase within your humanity of Earth's reality experience. When I was awakened that morning, I was awakened with hearing, before I got this message, I was awakened with hearing the September stone of 2019. But the 2019 was like very much more silent and subtle, if you will. So it was the September stone. I'm like, okay, haven't had coffee yet. Okay, what's the September stone? It's 4:17 in the morning. What's the September stone? The September stone is many things, if you will. Okay, there's so much information, it would take hours and hours, and so I'm not going to go into great detail. We can do that in another time, maybe in another talk. But the September stone is actually more than one stone, okay? But the one stone that we were led to, all right, and it's associated with the 777 days. When I went to create the image that has been shared on Facebook that says 777 tears, it is because as I was thinking about, okay, this information that had come through, because it was later that day on the 22nd, I was thinking about that information that was come through. And more than beyond that information, just in my personal, I want to share this. I have a sense of, I have a foreboding sense, is what I wrote. That is, since that is the date it will be before, okay, the issues that we're currently dealing with start to resolve, okay? Now, first of all, from July 22nd, 2020, 777 days takes us to Wednesday, September 7th, 2022. I know this is information that nobody wants to hear, okay? And remember, nothing's set in stone, but I think we all can see the writing on the wall, what's happening in this current reality, okay? This physical reality. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. To stand up, to lead, to hold energy, to hold space, to do the work. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all. But we've got this, okay? Together. The images that I was seeing when I was thinking about the 777 days, in other words, what I can see transpiring between July 22nd, 2020 and September 7th, 2022. Most of it's not real pretty. That doesn't mean there's not going to be points of joy and, you know, in our lives and things like that. But overall, as a collective, this is going to be, these 777 days are going to be tough. They're going to be tough for lots of reasons, okay, in the physical world. We've got to stand strong. And that is when the 777 days that I was going to put on that image turned into 777 tears. And the reason was, as I was looking at that, and please take this and understand it the way that I'm actually trying to share it. That was because in that moment, okay, and I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not. But we have to face it. We have to face it and look at it, and then we have to walk away from allowing that to be. In other words, allowing it to become the reality that we recreate. And I'm going to share some other information associated with some other stuff in just a few minutes. I actually had tears rolling down my face, in my eyes. My eyes were welling up with tears when I was looking at those images, and I was seeing that, and I was feeling that this 777 days of what we're going to have to walk through as a collective, as an individual, as a group, as whatever, as humanity. All right. And that's when it became 777 tears. And the reason it's not 777 days of tears is because the collective is weeping. And it became one tear for each day because it was a continuous tear every day. Please, I know that sounds foreboding. I know that sounds, understand that as starseeds, part of our work, part of our job, part of our gift, our talent, part of what we came here to do is to be able to see this truth, to see this reality energetically, okay? The energy of it, and allow it to wash through us without becoming attached to it. And therefore, when we can do that, we can help transmute this for others. Truly, okay, we were told, Nabari has told us, starseeds, you did not come here. Starseeds have forgotten, you know, that's one of the chats before. Please listen to that for more information about this. The energy of addiction that has taken so many starseeds off course, all right, and lost the knowledge of the original mission of the starseed, which was not to come here and save humanity. It was to come here and raise the frequency and hold that space so that humanity can save itself. Okay, we cannot do it for humanity. Humanity has to do it for itself. No one can heal another person. Okay, as above, so below. All they can do is hold space, hold a frequency that allows the other person to step into that and take it within their self. That's what we're here to do. Get caught up in the drama. A lot of it is because, you know, empathy. Empathy is a double-edged sword. Starseeds forgot how to handle it. Okay, we're going to move on because it's kind of backtracking. More information about that in the last chat. Okay. So 777 days. Now with that, now we're going to go ahead and look at the September stone. So, okay, remember I was awakened that morning by hearing, remember the September stone. So I start searching, I start thinking, I start looking through all of my notes for the past, you know, years. First of all, ever since, even just going back all the way to 2013, September, the month of September, and it will be the same here. It will be the same this year and next year and next year and next year. September is always a major, major month, okay, for lots of high energy events transpiring. Always has been. It is that month. So I'm thinking, okay, September stone, sapphire, you know, because September, Virgo, sapphire, you know, so start making all this, start looking. Okay, several stones came up, and there are other stones that we'll talk about, not in this chat, but later on, because we've got a lot of information about this one. Oh, excuse me. But there's one stone that I'm going to suggest, if you don't have it, you go ahead. I know I'm going to, because I don't think I have one, and start. The good news is it's common and it's not expensive. And the polished version is okay, but you're actually better off to get the unpolished. Okay. And that stone is Chrysalite. Kabaha is going to share some in-depth information on it here in just a minute. But that is the base frequency September stone. And it is also known as a dragon stone. And there's Kabaha is going to share some information on that why, okay? But the September stone, now I want you all to close your eyes, and I'm going to read now is when this comes in. Now here it is. 2 more I am keyword phrases that are specific to this chat and to even this stone, okay? But the stone, the September stone, is really a metaphor, if you will, okay, for a tool, sacred knowledge, a frequency that is of the most assistance in us being able to, where do we go from here? We start manifesting a new reality post-COVID. But to do that, we have to walk away. These are the key words. And kind of spoiler alert, we are going to, the meditation that we're going to end on tonight, we're going to walk away. We're going to walk away together because we're going to walk forward together. Okay. Yes, you're fine. I saw it, but we're still, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and read these two frequencies. Is that all that was about, in case, didn't realize Kabaha lost connection, but she's back. So, but I want to read these I am keyword phrases. Okay. And actually, at this point, I was shown this earlier today. I would like each of you to fingertip to fingertip, okay, with space between the fingers, all right? And hold that with the thumbs actually on the high heart point. All right, while I read this, I want you to understand that what is happening here, how we're using this mudra, okay? Mudra, hand yoga, is the fingertips connections. We're making connections from ourself to ourself, a communications link from ourself to ourself. And that means our individual self. So first I want you to, I'm going to read the first frequency with our hands like this, high heart. And then after I finish it, after a moment, there'll be a bit of silence. And I want you to then separate your hands and then bring them back together in that same way. And with the intention then, okay, that you are connecting yourself to the collective, the higher self of yourself to the higher self of the collective consciousness of humanity. So we are connecting ourself to ourself first. And then we are connecting our individual self, higher self, to the higher self of the collective consciousness of humanity. All right. Take a deep breath and prepare. Communications link self to self. This is a 777 dual frequency. I am the key of balance, spiritual intuition, and physical intelligence. I unlock knowledge held within the sacred temple of self. Please create your second communications link by moving your hands and then coming back. The second frequency is the 555-111 frequency triad. I am the change necessary to anchor the initial movement of the multidimensional realms into physical reality. I am the communications link between what is and what is to come. Hold on just a moment, Kabaha, please.
Okay. I can't hear you actually.
I'm so sorry. My bad. I apologize.
Don't
I
worry.
said before you start, there's a couple of things. Thank you. I'm sorry. There's a couple of things. I muted so I wouldn't hear all the rustling of paper, and I forgot. Okay, a couple of things I want to share before I turn this over to Kabaha to share about the September stone, the Chrysalite. Okay. What is the voice of spirit? The voice of spirit, okay, because this is that communications link we just did, okay? The voice of spirit is that which always speaks from and of love, peace, and safety. I'm going to repeat that. The voice of spirit is that which always speaks from and of love, peace, and safety. It is your inner guidance system, your conscience, and most often is a voice with messages meant only for you. It is not necessarily a voice such as channeling another individualized consciousness, a being outside of yourself. Okay, not necessarily. And in all honesty, channeling has probably done more to confuse this, in other words, hearing the voice of spirit clearly, than anything else. Because in the early 1990s, or early 2000s, or in the mid 90s and the early 2000s, when suddenly everyone wanted to be a channel of some advanced spiritual being and began presenting themselves that way, it started a process. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that the voice of spirit, okay, is your inner guidance system. And it's most often the messages that you get are really meant for you. All right? They're not necessarily meant for everybody else. It doesn't mean there's not something to be gained in sharing them with other people. But it's your inner guidance system. It's your conscience. That is the voice of spirit. And the voice of spirit will always speak from and of love, peace, and safety. That doesn't necessarily mean that the information might not be a little difficult to hear or something you don't necessarily want to hear, but it will be shared in the energy of love. It will be shared to you, for you, that lets you understand that there is peace and safety. You're fine, you're loved, there's peace and safety, and the world is not collapsing around you. If that is the voice that you're hearing, if you're hearing a voice that says, I love you, but it sends forth an energy that makes you feel scared and afraid and intimidated, that is not the voice of spirit. Okay. The September stone. The September stone is a metaphor for an energy and a frequency that we can use to take forward to start creating and manifesting a collective reality of peace, equality, and love post-COVID. Kobaha, share your information because this is amazing. You're wonderful. This is some of that joy energy that we talked about that is out there to be had. Okay, it's over to you.
Well, first of all, before I'm going to start talking about very interesting legends regarding that stone and the different properties as well.
Okay, she's having some connection issues. She froze up, so we'll just go ahead, and when she gets back, we'll she'll come back with that. She'll come back in and share the information. Okay, let's see. What are we looking at here? I really hate to kind of set off on this other kind of last big information. Ariane, is there anything that you can think of right now? You want to go ahead? Okay.
I could talk about the message that I want to give.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right then.
Okay.
Oh, she's gone completely now, Kobaha.
Yeah, she'll be.
Yeah. All right. The story that I want to share today ties in very much with everything we've been talking about up to now, but what it is a personal story, something that happened a few years ago. I barely started my awakening journey, and it took me a few years to fully appreciate exactly what had happened, and it profoundly affected me. The thing is, the energy of what happened with my little incident, let's say, is what I'm feeling in the collective a lot nowadays. And because I know how easy it is to fall into this trap and how hard it is to get out, that's why I want to share my personal story with everyone today. It's about wanting to help people, and you'll all, you know, everyone listening to this knows all about that. We've all got high empathy. We're here because we feel that drive to help people. But there are times that drive can get out of hand. And what happens then is ego comes in, and ego can be really, really sneaky. And you don't know that it's there. And that's what this story is about. So I had a friend who needed help. But you should first know a little bit about me, in that I've always, since I was a very small child, thought of myself as a helper. And as I became an adult, I started to think of myself more as a rescuer. I rescued people. Heck, I got married to someone because he needed rescuing. So that was the depth that I actually went to. So I had this friend, very close friend. She was a sister in many ways, and she was hurting really, really badly. She wouldn't let me know what the problem was, and that drove me insane. I knew that I could help my friend if only she'd share with me what the problem was. Sometimes we'd meet up and she'd be angry, other times she'd be fearful, sometimes she'd be really frustrated, and it was just eating me up because I could feel these energies off her, and I needed to help her. I knew I could help her, and it caused me so much emotional distress not being able to help her that I actually ended up warping the situation. And it came to a head one day when she was in a really bad way. I just went to give her a hug, as we do. And she just let all that anger and fear and venom and everything else just spew out at me. Okay. And I was devastated, because what I'd done was I'd turned that story away from her problem to my problem. I'd made it into my story. I disrespected her choice that I couldn't help her. I desperately wanted to help her. And the story became about my emotional distress because I couldn't help her. It became about my inability to help her. And I just turned the whole thing to me. And it took me a few years and Essence's help to actually work out that what happened was my ego was in play. And I sort of went, excuse me, ego? All I want to do is help. How is ego involved with me wanting to help? And believe me, it is. Ego stands there, he opens up the door, he waves big red flags, he jumps up and down, throws a party. Ego was the reason that I turned that story around to me and didn't just allow my friend, her issue, her problem in her way. I didn't walk away from it. And what's happening here in today's society is that same thing. As Essence just said, you cannot heal another person. No one can heal another person. And we have a lot of starseeds who are the same as I was. They're here to help people. They feel that really intensely. And so things come along, they read about stuff, they hear stuff on the news, friends talk to them, and all these rabbit holes appear. And in their need to help, they go falling right down the rabbit holes. They get in there, they hear about children being abused, about children disappearing, about torture, and all sorts of other really horrible, nasty things. And I've got to help that, I've got to help that, and they get right into it. And for my mind, the way I see it is that over the last few chats, we've talked about that addiction energy. We've talked about how it's sucking starseeds dry, and we've spoken about how strong it is. And we've grieved over friends that we see going down those rabbit holes. But it seems to me it's like ego. Ego's opened the door. It said, hey, I am going to use the thing that you feel the most strongly, and I'm going to suck you in by it. I'm going to use that gift that you have for helping other people, and I'm going to create situations that you're going to seek situations out there that will have an element of truth, no doubt about that. But we'll just expand it a bit and really suck you in. And that's where I'm seeing ego is opening the doors to starseeds, drawing them in with the very gifts that they have, their need to help people. And then it waves a flag and it jumps up and down and has a party because it's sucked. Ego has sucked people in. So how do you know that people are actually pulled in by ego into these addiction energies? Well, you just need to make a comment to them. You just need to say, hey, have you thought about that? Have you read the energy on that? Do you really think that's true? Have you researched? And you get this vitriol back. Absolutely slam into you. They go for it. And you know what? If you're doing work as a starseed, if you're doing work where, as Essence has just said, in love, peace and safety, that vitriol doesn't come through. That accusations and fighting against your fellow starseeds doesn't come through. It's not there. You need to think about the energy of things and get into it and just check your own ego and make sure that you haven't, as I did, unknowingly opened the door into these awful things, these addictions, simply by wanting to help. There are times you can help and there are times you can't help. There are times you get in there and you do whatever you need to do because you've read the energy, and it will bring you that joy and that peace and that security. And you can use compassion, and it's a good thing. It raises you up. But if it pulls you down so that you're attacking other people because they think differently or they don't quite have the same angle on things as you, that's not right. That's not right. So what we need to do is the other thing we've talked about today, is we need to forgive. We need to bring that level of forgiveness in, forgive ourselves for having fallen into that addiction energy, that ego energy, forgive ourselves, leave that baggage behind and walk away standing tall, moving into the things that we're here to do. We're not saviors. We're here to help. We're not here to rescue. So that's my personal story. I can just really feel those energies in today's society, and all I really want to do is give people, plant a few seeds, give people the opportunity just to think, hey, could I be in my need to help somebody? Is my need so strong that I have opened the door to ego? Am I following that addiction energy? You have to work that out yourself. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Crone Ariane. That was beautiful. I think this is perfect. Yeah, I think Spirit has been working behind the scenes here, because that story actually leads very well into Crone Kobaha sharing now about the Chrysalite and the stone, the September stone, the baseline frequency September stone. So Kobaha, I'm going to turn it over to you now. Thank you.
And hopefully the connection won't stop. So please, Spirit, that's fine now. Thank you. Got the message. Now, what I was saying to start with, before we're going to talk about the legend, very exciting, and the properties of Chrysalite, first of all, I wanted to mention how the term, how Chrysalite came into the conversation. And first of all, Essence, when she mentioned the name, I thought, I heard of that name before, because I'm using crystals, being crystal therapist, and I've got a lot of crystals in my home. I thought, yeah, I'm sure I've heard of it. I've used it before. Anyhow, so we started talking about it. I said to Essence, I'll do some research. And after doing the research, I went to bed in the evening, tried to fall asleep, and I'm thinking, oh, that's a shame. I don't have any Chrysalite to show people during the chat. And suddenly, out of the blue, obviously my guides thought, no, you've got a piece actually. And they showed me actually a picture of a pendant I've had for a while, but I haven't worn that pendant for a long, long time. And I'm thinking, of course. So I'm going to show it to you before I'm going to start talking about it. So Chrysalite is this stone here. which is kind of green color. So this one is slightly polished, actually. This is it. Okay, so before we start talking about the properties, I wanted to clarify one or two things, because quite often, if you do a research about chrysolite, we mention as well about peridot. Okay, they are similar stones. They're part of what we call the olivine family. Actually, it's a French word. That's why it's very strange for me to find that word in the description. But the olivine family is a group of rock-forming minerals found in Earth's crust, a constitute of many meteorites. Okay, so they are called basically mainly peridot and chrysolite. Peridot is more transparent. Actually, I've got a ring actually here. I'm not sure if you're going to see it. This is one there. And it's used a lot.
Yeah, peridot, I'm sorry, just real quick, peridot is like the gem quality.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the gem quality.
It's a gem quality. And it's more expensive. It's a rare stone. That's why if you try to find peridot in a shop, you'll have a tiny piece, quite usually polished, and people will use that to make jewelry. As for chrysolite, it's a cheaper stone, and you're going to have different sort of variation of green and yellowish goldish color as well. Okay, so I wanted to clarify that just before starting talking about chrysolite. So let's talk about the legend. When I found out about it, I called Essence because I thought, wow. I was quite surprised, but there is a Mongolian legend about chrysolite. It is the stone of the dragon, and the story is as followed. Mongolians believed chrysolite as dragon stones since they were found in volcanoes in Khangai Highlands in central Mongolia. Okay, that was the start. It tells us about a brave warrior who decided to erect a fortress in an old large area of flat, unforested grassland. But no matter how hard the builders tried the fortress collapsed time after time. It turned out that a long time ago, the Genes buried the stolen treasures in this place. These treasures rightfully belong to the dragons. To build a fortress, the warrior must return them to the owners. So that's why every time he was trying to build the fortress, it was collapsing. The army dug up the whole area, and when finally they found the mysterious treasure, a fiery whirlwind carried it away, and people following the whirlwind began to find beautiful gems on the ground. It was a chrysolite, the stone of dragon. Yeah, go ahead, Essence. You want to say something?
Well, no. Are you going to talk about the metaphor?
Oh yeah, after that.
Okay, then I'll be quiet.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to add to that. My but you're right. There is a kind of metaphor connected to what's happening now. Okay. And what was interesting, the other thing I wanted to mention, while I was typing that, a big thunderstorm in my area, a big thunder, big bang happened. And I look outside of my window, look at the cloud, and there was a dragon, of course. Just confirming, yeah, I'm here. The energy is here. Anyhow, so to apply that story, if we apply the information from this legend to the reality we are experiencing now, the dragon treasure represents the knowledge, the wisdom. The fortress represents a new reality. And this true sacred knowledge must be returned to the collective consciousness of humanity before the new reality is being built. Anything you want to add, Essence, to that?
No, I mean, probably yes, it'll flow out in just a minute. But you know, when Kabaha called and we were talking about it, and she was telling me that, and it's like, as she was reading me that legend, that's all I could see was, oh my gosh, this is just a metaphor for what is going on. So the September stone, and I'll read this real quick. The September stone is, like we said, it is a frequency wave. Okay, that's coming for us, and it's this 777 days. So especially in this next 777 days, okay, when things are going to, bottom line, they're just going to be really upheaval, okay, and major change and issues and stuff to deal with, okay, between now and September of 2022. And so this metaphor, this stone, this frequency wave, this September stone, okay, is this frequency wave that we're being gifted with, this knowledge to say everything has to be returned to its rightful place, and the knowledge and the wisdom has to come forward because it's been buried and it's been lost and it's been obscured, and it has to be gifted back to the collective, or the new reality won't stand. It won't matter how hard or how many times we try to rebuild it. If we don't do it correctly, it will not stand. It will not go forward. Before we go back to now the more physical properties, I do want to share this real quick in relationship to that September of 2019, where we did the initial activation of the planetary soul star chakra. Okay, in that video, I talk about what came forward on the Lion's Gate, and this is going to be interesting because we're going to touch on this as soon as Kabaha finish up with the last information past this. In the Lion's Gate of that year, okay, of actually 2001, okay, and I talk about this in the 2019 planetary soul star chakra, okay, there was what we call it the compassion wave. It was a galactic compassion wave that came through the Lion's Gate of 2001, okay, and it was, I'm not going to go into all the detail. If you want to hear that, go listen to that, okay, but that was called the compassion wave, and that led to, okay, the 9/11 event in New York City. All right. In many ways, okay, and I'm not saying something as enormous as 9/11 is going to happen in these next 777 days, but I'm also not saying that it's not possible. Okay, we're just going to leave it at that. This, because we're here to do the work. Remember, we've got to know the information. We've got to stand in our power. And we can't take any of this old stuff forward. Okay. In many ways, this 777, the 777 or the 777 wave, okay, is known as the wave of responsibility. Responsibility to self, to the collective consciousness of humanity and Earth, even responsibility to our galactic family. This high frequency wave is energy to assist us, humans, in growing up, in stepping up, stepping forward, and leaving behind infantile and juvenile thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and ways of existence. This is the wave that has come to wash us out into the stars. We're going galactic, remember? Unfortunately, as a collective, we are not as prepared as we could have or should have been. This was actually information I got just a couple of hours before this chat. Okay, so we are going to be in for a bumpy ride until we regain our balance. And in many ways, this is going to be like learning to walk on water, because this is a wave to wash us out into the stars. 777 days, 777 days, Starseed family. Okay, I'm going to do another video after this in the next day or two with some more metaphors and stuff. So, okay, now knowing that the September stone, Kobaha, please share with us how this stone can be of assistance. All right.
Well, first of all, I'm going to talk about the general properties, and I'll give you the healing properties, and you're going to understand how useful the stone is going to be. I'm talking chrysolite. Now, first of all, it is aimed at protecting its owner from the evil eye and evil thoughts of people around them. It will bring good luck, prosperity to its owner, as the properties of the stone are aimed at welfare, and this has been widely known and used for a long time. Such properties of chrysolite were often the reason of high demand for the stone among wealthy people, although it costs less than other gemstones like rubies, emeralds, diamonds, etc. As well, it will make the right decision and hold back from rash acts, so you can think carefully about things. Take your time. That's going to help you. And it will help you to stay focused as well. Now, wait for that one. It will help release from sorrow, melancholy, depression, apathy, and brings back the joy of life. That's one of the key healing property here. Now, the healing properties as well, more on the physical. It has a lot of healing properties, including the ability to affect the cardiovascular system positively. It can relieve from insomnia, nightmares, and nervous disorders. And healing properties of chrysolite may help in the treatment of many eye diseases as well. And very useful as well in treatments of colds, respiratory, I can't say that word, respiratory and lung diseases. That, when I thought about it, I'm thinking, I'm thinking about COVID-19 here. But seriously, the main property that really did strike me is the help release from sorrow, melancholy, depression, apathy, and brings back the joy of life. Yeah.
Also, too, as you were reading that, again, what I made a note here, chrysolite, because of this, you know, it being so sought after among the wealthy, okay, because they understood what this will actually, one of the properties, what it actually will help with the rebalancing of the inequality of wealth and power in global society. That's another thing that just came through that it'd be very, very good at doing. So in rebalancing inequality of wealth and power. Okay. And yes, the respiratory. What is this? Okay. Go ahead, Kobaha. Thank you.
No, that's fine. I think that's basically it. The main ones I found. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, when you know, they woke me up, when the governance board woke me up with this information, and, you know, after, you know, searching and being led to the fact that chrysolite, okay, is there, like I said, there are other stones that would be considered, you know, that we would use as September stones, okay, because remember, now that term literally just means it's about September stone. It's a frequency. September is about healing and rebalancing, and, you know, there's all this other stuff, but it's this wave, a frequency wave of taking on responsibility. Okay. All right. Anything else there, Kobaha or Ariane, that before I kind of like get to the last stuff and we can start heading toward the finish line here? No, we're good. Okay. All right. So some more information, quick information. Somebody did ask me earlier if we were going to be talking about the Lion's Gate, and I told them, well, yes, I would be mentioning that, but probably not information that they would be expecting to hear about it. Okay. So, and because we are so far into this and we do have time, we will be talking about that more in detail on the next chat. Okay, so Chrysalite, you know, try to find you a piece. Be my suggestion. I know I'm going to. I also want to suggest, because it was brought forward, peony tea, white peony tea. Okay, peony is energetically, okay, because just like stones and animal messages, so does the flora kingdom have energies to share with us and be of assistance. Okay, flowers, we all understand that. Okay, so peony, especially white peony and pink peony, but the pink peony is the birth of compassion. If you saw that image, you see, go to either my page or the IKoK page, you'll see the image where it's peony, the birth of compassion. I'm going to suggest finding, if you're a tea drinker especially, some white peony tea. It is known as Baimudan. It is also known as Paimutan, but it is white peony tea. And so this is something that you can get your chrysolite, get your peony tea, and ceremoniously take yourself into meditation with this work. These are all energetically boosting and focusing. Okay, not to mention, you can do a little research, but I promise you, because I have done a lot of research on it, because it is one of the teas that goes in the Lemuria Kigaishakai, which is a sacred Lemurian tea blend that I make. Okay. White peony tea is extremely beneficial for the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, and the spiritual body. B-A-I, Mu, M-U, Dan, D-A-N, Baimudan, white peony tea. Okay. 777 days to cross the bridge. To cross the bridge. Does that mean it's all going to be over and we're going to be living in nirvana in 777 days? No. Oh gosh, not the answer we wanted to hear. I know, not the answer I wanted to hear either. It means 777 days from the 22nd of July of 2020. We're going to start some really hard work. But it's going to be finally the first steps of manifesting a better collective reality. So get ready to ride the wave of responsibility for the next 777 days. Get ready to step up. Get ready to not get lost, not get knocked off balance. You're going to. We all are. That's why we need each other. That's why when this is over, at the end of this chat this evening, our meditation, we are going to walk off. We're going to walk away together. Because in walking away, when we walk away, once we drop everything and walk away, then and only then can we begin walking forward. Okay? All right. Real quick, because I promised I would say it, okay? But we're just going to have to do more about this in the next chat. The Lion's Gate. The unexpected information is, and I'm going to find my message and to explain why. The Lion's Gate is no longer relative. I know. I know I'm not going to make any friends over that one. And I have written extensively in the past years. I've been a very firm, but we are creating a new reality. Remember, let me find my notes here and I will make more sense. This also came in on the 22nd from the Intergalactic Governance Board. Now, what happened was, one of the things that, ladies, how long has it been? A couple of weeks ago now. Okay, because I knew the Lion's Gate was coming up, and the Dragon's Gate is a part of the Lion's Gate, and that's a part of my work. And and I was like, okay, I've got to get ready for that. You know, I'm going to have to do a lot of writing about that, get the information about that. So I went in search of specific information. There's a gentleman, Graham. Ariane, he's from, I think, New Zealand. I'm not sure how he pronounces his name. Foscutt. How would you pronounce that? You have any idea? Okay. Anyway, he is a gentleman who has amazing information. He has developed what is known as galactic astrology. Okay. You can find him on Facebook, and he has a website. I'll try to remember to share a link. But anyway, so I asked him because I kept feeling this odd thing. He was the one that was through his work a couple of years ago. I had been writing the Lionsgate information report, and something just kept feeling off. Last minute, I found out it's because the Lionsgate date had changed. Long story short, the Lionsgate is no longer relative if it is to this collective reality. Remember, Kangaroo says we can go forward or we can go to either side. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I saw when Ariane was sharing that, but we can't go back. But even if we just go to either side, we're really staying right where we're at. We're not really moving forward. The reason so Lionsgate, and I'm not taking away from anybody's work or anybody's belief or anything else. I'm just sharing information as I am charged with sharing. Okay. And it's kind of one of those take it or leave it things, you know. But the reason it's no longer relative is this. This is from the internet. Dates of activations and traditional alignments that are still significant are shifting to fit with the creation of choosing or creating a new collective reality experience. These things, these activations, these traditions, etc., are pieces of the energy weavings that create and maintain collective reality experiences. So if you keep adhering to the old alignments, planetary energy alignments, you keep recreating and maintaining the same reality experience. We were shown a couple of years ago that the date of the Lionsgate was shifting. And I want to say that was in, I cannot remember, and I didn't get a chance to check. I want to say that it was either 2017 or 2018. I want to say 2018, but I'm not 100% sure. But you can go to my website and you can find it because it'll be the last report I did on the Lionsgate on my website. The Lionsgate is formed by our alignment, Earth's alignment with Sirius. Okay. Well, these are old, when Sirius was in alignment with Earth, okay, the precession of the equinoxes, even in traditional numerology, they change. All right. So even if you're wanting to maintain this current paradigm reality, okay, experience, collective reality experience, and by using some of these, now they're not all changing, don't get me wrong, but that's why we've been shown, that's why we're getting new activations, that's why we're getting new points activated. The planetary soul star chakra, okay, started last year. Now, so that made me go, okay, well, what does that mean for the Dragon's Gate? Because the Dragon's Gate is my work. It was the information I was shown years ago. Because the Dragon's Gate comes through. It's only for an 11-year period, began in 2015 to 2025. All right, specific work all through those years didn't actually open in the 15, won't open in 25 because it's the Dragon's Gate is a energy portal that only comes around for 11 years, every about 6,000 years. In the current collective reality experience belief, all right, or maintaining, And it comes at the very beginning, you know, when we're starting to open what we currently term golden age cycles, and then just before a golden age cycle ends, it will open again for that 11-year period. It's about 6,000 years between. So when I hear this, that Lionsgate is no longer relevant to moving forward, okay, because actually the alignment with Sirius, according to Galactic numerology, actually occurred. Oh, I wrote that down. Let me find it. I'm sorry. July 6th, 7th. It actually occurred there. Okay. So it's already passed, first of all. It's already passed. Even if you're still adhering to using that to continue to maintain, create and maintain the current reality, collective reality experience, because of the precession of the equinoxes, because of looking at it from a galactic perspective as opposed to an earth perspective, it's already passed. So what does that do for the Dragon's Gate? So I went in and I asked my crew, because I'm like, okay, guys, you gave me this information. Well, first of all, things have changed a lot in 2 years. Things have changed a lot in 6 months. Reality is no longer stable. The collective is manifesting almost instantaneously what's going on. That's why everything just feels like walking on water. There's no solid ground. Okay. But what it does, what I was shown, is it's shifted. The Dragon's Gate, because we're working on weaving a new pattern, a new energetic pattern to create and then begin maintaining a new reality post-COVID. Remember, where do we go from here? Because we're weaving anew. Some of the stuff still fits into the weaving. Okay, we're still here. But we've got to weave in new threads, and some threads have served their purpose. Some of them we're walking away from. Okay, like I said, I'm not taking away from any of that. I'm just sharing information I was given. Okay. So, but the Dragon's Gate is now, okay, to finish up, the Dragon's Gate now, instead of coming through the Lion's Gate, is coming through the 444-2222 dual Stargate portal, the one we opened up in February. A new portal to and the one that, remember, gives us access to other and new reality timeline experiences to choose from. So we either maintain, okay, keep choosing, in other words, keep creating our collective reality with the same threads that we've been using, or we start a new weaving. Choice is ours. Sort of. There's more to it. But that's the basics. Okay. So, yeah, I know. Not the information you thought you would hear about the Lion's Gate. I'll be honest, not the information I thought I would hear about the Lion's Gate either. Kara unche. Nagian. Janehe Gai Huakai I Ani. I am the ancient future immortal birthing the genesis of sacred lands. Kara unche Nagian Janehe Gaihua Kai Ani. Lemurian, language of Lemuria. Kara unche Pa'u Nagian. Kara unche Pa'u Nagian. I am the ancient future transitioning immortal Kara unche prana. I am the ancient future breath of life. With that, unless anyone else has something they would like to share, either of you Krones have anything else you would like to share right now, we will begin moving into our meditation to finish this chat. We will end on a silence. If you want to stay on after the chat is over, and we stop recording, we do have an after chat, and you're welcome to stay and visit with us and ask questions and give comments and your insights. Anyone, Krone or not, is welcome to say something here if they like to. Give it just a second. I don't see anybody rushing to unmute themselves, so I'm going to ask Krone Kabaha and Krone Ariane to go ahead and say their goodbyes and thank yous before we move into meditation, because we do want to end on silence. So I'll let you ladies do that.
We're busy looking at each other saying, you go first, you go first. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here with us, whether that's in this timeline reality or in no time, no space. Thank you for being with us. We are deeply honoured for, and look forward to seeing you at our next chats. Gashin.
Well, same thing here. Thank you so much for attending and watching. I feel so honored every time to share information with all of you. And if you don't mind, Essence, it's not my oracle deck, it's my husband's oracle deck.
I'm sorry. Yes,
please. That's okay. It's actually my husband who said to me, there is a dragon theme. You should be picking up a card from the dragon oracle deck. So I'm going to do that just to see what's coming up. Let's say.
Thank you for reminding me.
That's absolutely fine. That's the energy for, let's say, the chat tonight, but for the next week, and see what's coming up. Would be interesting. Oops, quite jumpy. It's the white gold dragon. Develop your causal chakra bathed in 9th dimensional Chrysalite. So, I mean, they're not, you know, they're pushing hard here. They're pushing hard. So sacral chakra, well, all about creativity. Here we go, creating that new reality. We're on track, but they're saying, hey, you need to tap your knowledge and wisdom on quite deep. But we can do it. That's a beautiful message. And Geshem, thank you all for chatting.
Yes. And thank your husband for reminding us. Yes. That ancient future knowledge. Remember, okay, very quickly, reminder to go with this, because that's 777, okay, that wave, remember, is all about, I'm going to read you, okay, remember the 777 dual frequency. I am the key of balanced spiritual intuition and physical intelligence. I unlock knowledge held within the sacred temple of self. Anytime there are 7s involved in any frequency, okay, it is about knowledge, wisdom, and communication with spirit. Every time. All right. The 7 frequency, just to give you an example, I am keyword phrase, I am intelligence seeking self. 77 frequency, I am the divinely inspired synthesis of spiritual intuition and physical intelligence. So in other words, bringing the higher self and the mental self, the intelligence, the intellect together, synthesizing them, okay? The 777 frequency, I am the divine multidimensional alchemical synthesis of technology, biology, and spirit. Okay, with all of that shared and stated, we're ready to get to work for 777 days. Actually, what would we be, 775 days now? Yep, okay. See, we're moving right along. It will be tough, but we've got this. I want you to stand strong. I want you to stand in your power, okay? I want you to expand physically every day. I want you to raise your arms, and I want you to put them back as far as you can. And in so doing, you open up, physically open up, okay? In yoga, this would be called the cactus position, all right? And you open up that heart and that high heart chakra area, and then you lift the head, not overly, don't make it uncomfortable, but push as far as you can and lift that head and look up and look forward and breathe and stand in your power. Okay. Once again, I would ask that you bring fingertip to fingertip, and we begin this evening's meditation to finish this chat. I want to thank you for joining us. We are very honored, beyond words, in all honesty. Gashaim. Please take a deep breath and center yourself. Begin to move to that centered stillness, into that space, that sacred space we created in which to hold this chat, this coming together in the sacred work. To just take a deep breath. And we are going to visualize ourselves standing in a beautiful field of glorious green, the golden green. The grass is beautiful, beautiful green. The golden sunlight hitting it, the golden green of the Chrysalite. I want you to now envision that we are all, and when I say all, I mean all of humanity, but especially those of us who are consciously and intentionally making the choice to walk away from juvenile and infantile behaviors, thoughts, beliefs, and way of existing on this planet as a species. And we are standing side by side, and we are facing true north. We are facing our truth, our power. We are facing true north. And as we stand in our power, side by side, I want you to actually envision that everything drops away. Every piece of baggage, every emotional care, every concern, every fear, every sense of inadequacy, everything that is not the truth of who you are and of who and what this collective is and is capable of, the truth of light, the truth of love, the truth of safety. Everything else falls away. Lies, deceit, ego dropping to the ground. Envy, injustice, violence dropping to the ground, no longer needed. Drop it as if your tattered old clothing is falling away until you stand in your true self, naked before yourself, naked of all that no longer serves you. And in the moment that all drops away, that is of low frequency and does not serve you or humanity or this collective, you feel a sense of freedom, of being so light, so joy-filled. And suddenly you dawn and come to wear the emerald golden robe of your true self. And we are walking together, one step with the right foot forward and away from everything we have dropped to the ground. And take a deep breath and feel the expansiveness with just one step forward. And now a second step with the left foot, walking forward away from what is no longer needed or wanted. And another step. And the next step. And we walk forward together, side by side, into a new reality. Kara unche nagian jenehe gahuakai ani. I am the ancient future immortal birthing the genesis of sacred lands. Kara unche pa'u nagian. Kara unche ana pa'u nagian. I am the ancient future transitioning immortal. Kara unche prana. I am the ancient future breath of life. Kara unche prana. Kara unche prana. Kara unche. Prana.